Welcome to the Shootin' the Q podcast presented by Heath Riles Barbecue with tips, tricks, and an inside look at some of the top pitmasters in the game. Now here's your host, Heath Riles.
Welcome back to another episode of Shootin' the Q. Today I'm joined by my lovely wife, Candace. How you doing today?
Doing good. It's really rainy out.
It is bad rainy out. And we have a special guest in studio, Miss Michelle O'Gwen. How are you doing, Michelle?
I'm doing great.
Just chilly?
Just a little damp outside.
And, this weather this week has sure put a damper on a lot of things around here, especially for us. But I guess it's just part of the Memphis weather, right?
Mm-hmm. It's February.
It is. So kind of tell everybody who you are and how you got into the sport of barbecue.
My name is Michelle O'Gwen. As you said, I am a military brat, for lack of better words. I grew up moving around the country. Moved to the Memphis, Tennessee area in the mid-'90s when I graduated high school, just because I had family here. Wanted to go to the college out this way because it was cheaper and all that stuff. Married young, had a couple kids, moved out to a little neighboring town out here called Arlington, Tennessee. And that's where I got started with barbecue there. Friends of mine were like, hey, why don't you volunteer for this event? They need some help. I was new to that area, and I figured, that's a good way to meet people is to volunteer at events. And I got started helping out with the judging over there at the Arlington Barbecue Burnout, was what it was back then. And then spilled over into the Memphis In May area, to help volunteer at their barbecue contest. I've been a volunteer at Memphis In May for make me do math, almost 20 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think I started 2007 or 8 is when I started volunteering there for them. I started out as a contestant ambassador, for those teams that are out there at Memphis in May. They have these ambassadors that walk around and help take care of you, make sure you have what you need, radio in for electrical or ice or whatever if you need it. But 1 year, the judging area needed help. They were shorthanded or whatnot, and I jumped in over there, and I've been there ever since. As far as my role in Memphis in May goes, I am one of the judging, liaisons or the reps for the scoring program for Memphis in May. My husband also runs it with me. He handles all the judges inside the tent. I make sure all the auditors are keying the scores in a timely manner and keeping the contest on time and sending out media statements and stuff like that. So we are ramping up and getting ready for 2025. We're excited for this year. And outside of that, no, I compete as well. It's just the one contest I can't compete at. So me and my husband, Brandon, have Ain't It the Life Barbecue. We've been competing together since we met in 2013. I was on a couple other barbecue teams before that until all of those teams decided they wanted to retire, and we created Ain't It the Life. We compete in SCA and Memphis Barbecue Network type contests, and also other food sport contests. We are not just barbecue. We do the World Wing Championships. We've done Burger Fest. We've done Popper Fest. We've done the taco contest. Some people say we do a salt and pepper contest if they had one. We probably would.
Out of all those, what I have to ask, sorry to interrupt you here, and I got to judge the burger contest one time. So out of all those contests that you've been to, what would you say is your most favorite? Let's leave Memphis in May out of the mix, okay? Because Memphis in May is a different beast. We're talking about the World Championship.
But I want to ask if you've done a chili contest, because I feel like those are really,
outside of the ancillary, I haven't not.
Crazy too.
I do love to cook chili personally, especially right now with this kind of weather. Might go do that today when I get home. I have not done an actual chili contest itself. It's on my radar. I know there's an international or world chili.
It's like the Cassie. Is that how you say it?
There's so many different versions of
chili associate.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know there's an ICA, which is the International Chili. I think World Food owns that.
Yeah.
Now
I have an aunt that does all that, and I don't know. She showed me her recipe one time, and I was just like, "This is crazy."
Yeah, this is your chili recipe, like a whole page of ingredients. Like I'm going back over.
That's
here
why I'm like, those people get really sick.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why I was like, "Have you done a
start
chili
asking if there's beans or no beans in chili? That'll start a debate."
Well, it's about like the Philly cheesesteak and the Chicago deep dish pizza. It's best to leave those questions unanswered.
Right.
But you didn't get to answer.
No.
So which one's your favorite?
I'll be honest, I missed the burger contest. I missed Burger Fest. I've been begging Seth Agranoff to bring that back. He's like, nope, you can. But we just had so much fun with that because there was different categories. I think our team, because we also had, our team that we had on that was a blended group of different barbecue teams that all just came together. And we named our team Memphis as Chuck for that contest specifically, and it was just a bunch of good guys, girls getting together, having a good time. 3 different burger categories, and then extreme burger, which everybody loves to do that and try to beat Cookie Canuck over there with that big burger. I think they ended up retiring that category because we won it every year. But we were doing things from building the Peabody display, like the fountain and everything. We had a fully functional fountain with ducks in there and everything. But the big burger was the actual water fountain.
Wow.
Yeah, that one just, it was a good time. One day events are a lot less exhausting on the body, but outside of that, yeah, been cooking barbecue. We had our first Grand Champion win last year at Praise the Lord as in at Life. We were very proud of that one, considering it's our favorite contest up there. Amy Mills does a great job. And then rolled on into World Food, in November, and live fire category, this was its second year in live fire. It was steak prior to that. And I'm glad they made that change. It gave some more versatility than just putting a steak in a box. And I think when they did that, that's why I left Kitchen Arena and went out to the live fire parking lot and started cooking there.
So I didn't know about a bunch of changes. So it actually changed from steak to live fire.
Correct.
And so now you can do anything you want, basically?
Whatever the theme is. So they have category themes, like, there's seafood, there's chef, there's vegetarian, there's rice, there's noodle, there's live fire, there's barbecue. So when they get those different categories, I believe there's 12 total, they'll have sponsors obviously pick a category they want to help sponsor, and usually that sponsor will have some sort of theme or required ingredient that you're required to use. For last year, live fire was fired up flavors, so they wanted bold, smoky flavors. And in your description, they wanted to hear the woods that you're using, so they can feel that, when they go to eat your bite, taste.
So I feel like World Food is a different beast, and if you have never been, that you may not understand. So can you kind of describe World Food as? I mean, I know you just kind of started, but like, how does someone just go cook World Food?
All right, so World Food is its different beast, and it is a qualifier. You do have to qualify to win with one of their qualifying events. They have, I know barbecue, they use through the Famous Dave's program. He has some contests that he puts on throughout the year, and that's how you qualify to get into the barbecue arena there. For live fire, it's pretty much the SCA events. If you win a first place a steak, you can get into live fire there. Plus, they're also working on some other live fire qualifiers as well. Kitchen Arena, we're like seafood. They have certain qualifiers. They have online recipe contests that you can submit with the Taste of America. It actually kicked off today. You can submit a recipe with a picture and a description, and they'll simulate that, and they'll pick their favorites, and the winners will get to compete there. They also have a junior division they just started last year with kids competing, and that went over well. They're doing qualifiers for that one as well. But it is a different beast, especially if you're in Kitchen Arena. For those that don't know, it's an indoor contest. They have 40 kitchen stations, which it's got a full stove, microwave, prep table, prep cart and all that stuff for you to work out of. And you have 90 minutes from start to finish to complete your dish and turn it in just like you would on, you got to set it down on that table before the cutoff or you're DQ'd. And you're not allowed to open anything. You can't pre-marinate anything, can't pre-chop nothing. It's going for the time clock. I mean, you got to learn how to cook against a clock. In live fire, we are outside, so we have a little bit more space to work with, but it's still the same rules. 90 minutes, start to finish. There's chefferys walking around, making sure there's no cheating going on, make sure everything's on the up and up, and then also clearing the path so that when you're trying to turn in your dish, you don't have to deal with public getting in the way or whatnot, or like I had an incident where I actually dropped a plate, so it happens.
So is it like it used to be? Because we competed in World Food a few times, made the final table in barbecue twice and all that. Is it still where you do like one main presentation dish and then several sample dishes around it for them to try?
Yes. So for round one, it is one presentation dish that they use for the appearance judging, and then they take that off for photography at that point, and then there's 5 sample platters for the 5 judges to sample, and then they do their scoring. And if you make the top 7, you go to the final round where you compete again with another theme and still another 90 minutes the next day or whatnot, or the day after. And that one, it's one presentation and 10 sampling platters, sampling pieces. So they'll give you 2 platters to put at that point for that. And then right now what they've done in the last couple of years is when you're in that final round, once you turn in your platter, you actually sit down and you have to go before the judge panel. So the judges are actually judging you and asking you questions about your dish after you give a little brief presentation about what they're about to sample.
That's really interesting now.
It's good to get that kind of feedback right away.
So it's almost like a Memphis in May style. I don't want to say that in a way, but you're actually having to tell them what you created and getting critiqued right in front of you.
Correct.
And that's kind of a hard pill to swallow sometimes for a cook.
Well, yeah, not everybody likes to talk about themselves or in front of.
That's
But
right.
do they actually critique you, or they just ask you questions?
A little bit of both. From what I remember of the panel last year, I mean, I got a critique, and I had ACF judges too for the American Culinary Foundation were judging us, and a couple of the barbecue, type celebrity people. But they did. They were like, I liked your steak. They'll let you know if it's cooked or over, under, or how they prefer it better. The biggest critique I got on my dish that I actually won with was that I didn't strain the oil from my chimichurri. So there was a little oil pulling up on the plate, and that was their biggest critique for me. But at least I knew I had that feedback right there.
So what dish did you win with?
The dish I turned in, I called it the Great Balancing Act. And my thought was the most important thing with doing live fire is being able to show that you can cook elegant food over hot coals, So I did a rolled ribeye cap, the spineless, rolled it up, made it look like a little fillet, seared that off with some chimichurri, and did a seared sea scallop with a white wine mushroom cream sauce.
Sounds really good.
Sounds real good. I wish I had a bite of it right now.
So I tried to make it look like a yin yang when I did it on the plate.
I bet that looked really, really good. Wow.
I'll just show you after the meeting.
So yes, you did win that event with
Yes,
that.
yeah. Got 98.375 was the score. It was the highest scoring dish in the final round out of all 12 competitors.
So do you know what the dishes was closest to you?
I can't remember. I haven't really looked.
Or do you know any of the dishes anyone turned in? Like any of was it pure steak or?
In the live fire carries, we had to use ribeye from Sam's. So that was a required ingredient. So that's when I actually got a perfect score with that dish the year before in the preliminary round. So I went ahead and used it. I already knew I knew it would score well, so I did it again. And it fit the criteria, so it just worked out. But yeah, everybody had to use a ribeye of some sort.
So I have to ask, how many times did you practice at home on that dish before you went?
This year?
Yes.
None.
Not none.
No.
Because I know last year, y'all, I seen you practicing online some, right?
Yeah.
So you didn't practice any?
Not that particular dish for the final round, because I already knew it. We already had it. We nailed it. We did it perfectly last year. I said, don't reinvent the wheel. Don't try to overcomplicate it. Now, the dish I turned in for the preliminary round, I did the national dish of Brazil, feijoada, which is like a poor man's type stew, and it's smoky flavor, and that's why I picked it. So that's black beans, pork loin, collard greens, and then sauce. I did a chorizo cream sauce.
Chorizo, that sounds good. I bet that tied well together.
Oh, it's good. It felt like a big bowl of chili, but not really chili. Now we're back to chili again.
With beans.
Yeah, beans.
With beans.
So you're actually getting ready to go to the final table coming up in March, right?
Correct. So World Food takes their 12 category winners. So the seafood winner, the chef winner, rice, noodle, live fire, barbecue. We're all going head to head against each other at the final table in Bentonville, Arkansas, March 28th through the 30th. We will be up there doing all the things. The first round that they given us is called Retail Gourmet, and everything must come from the Sam's Club in Bentonville.
Oh, wow.
So you got to learn your Sam's.
So are you going over to Bentonville to walk around?
It's probably like one of the best Sam's.
It is.
Out of
I'll be honest. I call it
probably
the mothership.
best one.
So have you been to the Walmart in Bentonville?
Yes, I had to do some demonstrations there last summer.
I was just over there not long ago, and it is, like she said,
the best.
even the liquor section.
Yeah.
Did you go out to the beer and the liquor section?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
They had liquor in the Walmart?
Maybe he's in the edge of Missouri. Was I in the edge of Missouri?
I wasn't there. I don't
It
know.
was really close to the home office. I do know that.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I'll tell you,
There were
Walmart.
6 barrel picks
wow.
in there. Yeah, of Walmart. It was a really good liquor beer section.
Oh, they make sure they got everything up there. I know they're still, when I was there last year at Final Table watching the competitors, I saw the campus, where they're building, what I call it the campus. It's Walmart headquarters.
Right.
Yeah,
And it looks like a college campus. It's that big.
Yeah, I actually was just looking at pictures of it this morning on LinkedIn. Now that you say that. And they were talking about the pavilion and the Alice Walton. I think one of them's the Alice Walton Pavilion, and then one of them's one of the sons, named after one of the sons. One of the campuses is. But it's kind of all family pieces. All of them had a lot of input in it, how it was. It's really cool for the employees, though, what they've done.
Oh, they take care of their people out there. Everybody that works in that city or works for Sam's or Walmart, they're definitely proud of where they work and what they do.
It is not what you would expect to me for people.
Well, I've heard that they've tried to make it very cultural.
Yes,
there,
it's very much they
in
buy
that
into the
town
culture.
because a lot of people have moved there from all different cultures, parts of the world, even to work for Walmart. So they try to be accommodating to all, cultures and everything.
Diversities,
Yeah.
Well, they have what was cool to me, I guess what I was trying to say, the investments that they make into the people that move there, like you said. And what I mean by that is there's so many walking trails and bike trails off sides of the road that are paved and concreted that are not
That
you
aren't
know,
in
that
typical
are really,
Arkansas.
really nice. Yeah, that are really, really nice. I mean, because I was thinking where we stayed over there and went and we had to cater a
You
golf
told me
tournament.
about it, yeah.
It was just an amazing community. I mean, it felt like, wow, 1 p.m., people's out biking and walking and, walking with their dog. It was just a really, really nice feel. I'll say that.
So I want to go back to round one. You have to get everything at Sam's Club. Is that the only guidelines as of right now that you know of?
Yeah, it's retail gourmet. We have to use, so everything has to be from the Sam's Club in Bentonville. I think it said one item must be a Member's Mark product and the other one had to be produce.
Okay.
But outside of that, no,
You can
there's
pretty
no
much
limitations.
have free range.
Then just stick with what it says, retail gourmet. You're taking these retail products and you're going to turn it into a gourmet dish in an hour. We only get an hour on this one.
So do you know what you're doing yet?
She can't tell you that.
I do know what I'm doing. We're practicing it this afternoon when I get home. So yes, I will be practicing that one a lot.
Yeah, I didn't want you to say it out what you're
No,
doing. I just
I-
want to know if you had nailed down what you were actually going to do.
We've got, I'd say we're about 90% there. We got some things we want to tweak as far as technique and execution, because those are the most important things that you'll get dinged on the most there is execution.
So it's just one shot there, right?
Yeah, so they take all 12 of us in the first round. After round one, they narrow it down to 6. In round 2, those 6 people will go to a restaurant and they do a taste and repeat. So they're going to go, and then they did this last year too. They go sit at the restaurant that is selected, and the chef will come out, present his dish, describe his dish, eat the dish, and then the next day you show up. There's a box of ingredients on your station, and you got to recreate it in 60 minutes.
That's pretty
That's
good there.
interesting.
So how complicated can that become?
Well, you can overthink it real quick, or they may put extra ingredients in the box that aren't supposed to be there.
That was my next question. Do they try to throw you off with other ingredients?
And then you got to figure out what you are and are not supposed to use. And
Because I'm sure he does not describe the whole recipe.
I wouldn't if I were him.
Wow, that's I did not realize that. That's pretty cool.
That sounds like the most fun and intimidating part for me on that one, that challenge. After that round, they take it down to 3. So they go, and this is a 2-day thing. So on Saturday the 29th is round 1, and then the top 6 go to dinner. They come back on Sunday morning. They recreate the dish. After that, judging is complete. They knock it down to 3. About an hour and a half later, they compete again in the round 3.
So do you know what you do in the final round if you make the final round?
Make final round. It's called your culinary journey, which is pretty much it's describing how you got from where you started cooking to where you are now and telling a story with your dish. That to me is the hard part because I hate writing about myself. I hate talking about myself. So
That would be hard for me too.
Yeah.
Especially at only 90 minutes.
You only get 60.
60.
Yeah.
See, it's hard to really turn out what we know as Southern comfort food in an hour.
Uh-huh.
Right? It can be rushed, but that would be hard.
Yeah. Especially when you're a barbecue background and live fire centric, you're usually used to having that much more time to do the low and slow process.
Yeah. And so it really turns into a grilling contest at that point.
And
An
it's all
execution contest.
It's all inside, yeah. It's all chefy at that point.
Is dessert still a category there?
Yeah, yeah, they still have a dessert. Actually, the dessert champion, Emily Bent, she's out of Arkansas. She's a barbecue team.
I qualified for dessert one time, but I didn't end up going.
I think my favorite year that dessert was run at World Food was when they did themed cakes. That was, they had to do like a holiday theme for their cake, and that was just seeing the different kind of holiday themes were
Oh
great.
yeah, I bet that was neat.
When she qualified, we were in Nashville, and they done it all goo-goo.
No,
And what
it was supposed to be a Nashville themed dessert.
Nashville. Okay, Nashville themed dessert. Yeah, had to be a Nashville themed dessert.
Is there
And
a
she
thing?
used the Goo Goo clusters
Okay.
because they're made in Nashville.
Okay.
I basically made them homemade. I didn't
Yeah.
use them. But I made a pie basically, and I won that contest, and it qualified me to go. But then I got accepted to nursing school and had to make big decisions. So
Go to World Food or nursing
you
school?
You can't just miss a week or two of nursing school.
No,
So
no.
you don't get a chance again. You take it or you leave it.
I remember you being at contests studying,
Oh, yeah, I know.
putting ribs on the smoker while you're flipping your chapters.
Ugh,
Right.
I do not miss that.
So how does WFC compare to a regular barbecue competition to you?
It's different. Even if you're looking out on the outside, like being on the live fire in the barbecue area over there, it is different. One, it's just the format. I mean, it's especially on the barbecue side, they do 2 different rounds of getting in. There's I can't call it KCBS, but they're the ones that kind of run it. So it's kind of that kind of format. And then there's the eat method. So there's like normal barbecue judging, and then there's the eat method. I think it might have been CBA this year. I can't remember what sanctioning body they used for the barbecue side. But you get in that way, and then once the barbecue guys are done and they go into the final round, just like live fire, they can cook outside, but they still only have the 9. That they have a little bit more grace with the smoked meats on the timeline than live fire does. But they still have to put everything together in the kitchen like we do.
Yeah. Wow.
So what's one lesson that you've learned from previous competitions that you think you'll apply at the final table?
Keep it simple, stupid. I've seen us overcomplicated. I've even overcomplicated. I mean, I tried to go one year. I was in the soup category, and I wanted to make ratatouille soup, consomme, and doing that in 90 minutes. And I think I just overshot it. All the times at barbecue contests, we tell people, you don't want to overcomplicate your barbecue dish or your ancillaries or whatever, because the judges may just miss your point altogether. And when I started with the dish that I won with, I wanted to keep it simple. It really was only 4 components on the plate. It was 2 sauces and 2 pieces of meat.
So out of all that, what part of the whole thing do you think is the toughest challenge? The time clock?
Yeah, the time clock. Because you'd be surprised. I mean, I've gotten where I've been in the middle of the contest in the firewoman division where I'm competing by myself. I'm not allowed to have any help, and at the same time, it's 90 minutes. I'll get to a point, I'm like, hey, I'm ahead. I'm good. I got time to relax for a minute. Let me go get a drink of beer real quick or whatnot. And the next thing I know, I'm behind. So just staying on top of your schedule and keeping your stuff in line. I know when we do contests for barbecue, I mean, I've got my list of when things go on, when things get seasoned. Just stick to the plan and don't deviate.
That's right. So your son has also competed at WFC, right?
Yeah, he did. He competed last year. It was the first year for WFC Junior where they had more kids there. They did a trial year before that. He was one of the youngest competitors there. They have kids ranging from ages of 9 all the way up to 17. Last year they had 24 kid teams competing. He competed with Raylan Barker, Lil Gringa. She won MasterChef Junior one year, so they teamed up and worked together, and it was just the 2 of them. He was 9 and she's 13, and they landed 4th place against kids in culinary school.
Wow.
17, 18-year-olds.
So I have to ask, do you know what they cooked?
They did, their theme was, they had used healthy fresh pork as a team menu, donated the pork. So they wanted to do a similar theme of the Indiana State sandwich, which is pork tenderloin sandwich. So they did a breaded pork loin with smoked Gouda polenta, cranberry jalapeno reduction, a cranberry glaze on the pork, and a quick beer bread, and broccolini.
Sounds good.
Wow. That's a lot.
It was a comfort food dish too.
For some children.
Yeah, they put it out, but yeah, 4th place in the world.
Wow. So you're talking about, let's get away from WFC, talking about you and Brandon and starting Ain't It the Life kind of business, catering and barbecue. So what made y'all want to make the switch into catering?
People kept asking us to cater their events. I mean, and we just personally like cooking. Every time we would get together, we don't really go out to restaurants and eat much anymore, when you start cooking as much as we do, and we just like doing it and being hands-on ourselves. That's how we did our date nights. We would just, on each side of the island, here I'm chopping, you're chopping, we're talking, we're cooking, we're just coming up with some ideas. And as we were doing more barbecue contests and doing well, we had people, hey, will you cater my wedding? Will you do this? Will you do that? And at the time, we were doing real estate and, traveling and barbecue and stuff. And I'm like, hey, why don't we just start making more money out of this? We started getting more phone calls. COVID hit right after we launched our catering company. It was like months after we launched our catering company, COVID hit. And we limped it along and sticking through real estate through that part. But once corporate started opening back up, we started getting more calls, other catering companies that had their companies could not survive the COVID when everything got shut down. Well, once the corporate opened back up, that business was still there, so they needed a demand. And I'd say, year 3 right now, I'm 100% into catering. That's it. We don't do any more real estate no more.
Wow.
We're catering 5 days a week, minimum.
More than you want to do sometimes.
Oh yeah, like today I didn't want to get up and cook, but I did.
So what's the biggest challenge in growing both the catering and your competition barbecue team? Trying to handle them both.
Trying to be in 2 places at once, because we do still like to compete. There's contests that are hard yeses that we want to be out there at, for Praise the Lord, Galax,
Right.
Obviously we run Arlington barbecue in October, but trying to be able to go to do some other ones. Like there's some other events that I would like to go on the West Coast and do more live fire out there in Texas, because there's a lot of that going on over there. But it's hard to be gone for a week when you don't have staff to maintain your kitchen to the quality of standards that we like to keep it ran. So that is the hard part, is like having the fun part of barbecue, which is the traveling, the meeting people, and then obviously the part that pays your bills.
Do you ever try new competition recipes in your catering, or do you stay away from that?
I actually did. I put out one of the Sam's Club recipes today for my catering. Salsa chicken.
Salsa chicken.
So every now and then they'll come up with a good recipe, and I'm like, hey, I'll just throw that in the catering, see how it works.
Yeah.
Wow.
So y'all cater a variety of everything.
Yeah.
Basically.
We do everything.
Kind of whatever you want. You can
Barbecue.
probably do something close to that.
Asian, Italian, Southwest, Southern, just about everything. The company that we currently feed 5 days a week, they let us pick the menu. It said, here's our budget. Just make it diverse. We want a salad every day. I said, all right, gotcha. So like yesterday, we did Swedish meatballs. I should not have picked that because there was hard to find meatballs the day after the Super Bowl.
Oh,
everybody was eating meatballs. Wow. Today was salsa chicken. Tomorrow we're doing pork barbecue. Another day we're doing sandwiches. They just want to do sandwiches and pasta salad sometimes too. So we just change it up and cook.
That seems interesting. At least you get to play with the menu, and it's not a regiment every week.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that could be where it could get really boring for me.
Oh yeah. If you,
kind of quick.
And that to me is the downside of being in a restaurant and owning a restaurant. We've entertained it, and we've decided that that's not the path that we're going to go. Mainly because we do have a 10-year-old that likes to play sports, and we want him to enjoy his childhood. So restaurant was not an option for us. And
you don't want to work 85 hours a week. Let's face it.
No, I don't want to work that much. I'm getting too old for that. But that way too, when you're in a restaurant, your menu's set unless you're changing it quarterly, or if you're being one of those fine dining ones where you're, that 8 courses or whatever, and charging people $300. But I like being able to be flexible and custom and diverse. So we do have a menu that's on our website. It's just a guideline for now. If people say, hey, I want this instead of that, I said, just let me know what you're not. I'll get you price it out. The biggest thing as far as balancing what you were talking about, the business from catering to barbecue, is we had to change our logo for catering. So we have 2 different logos. And when we were first put out catering, we were using our barbecue team logo. And we lost so many wedding jobs because they didn't want barbecue. Mm-hmm. So we had to rebrand the catering side to look more
Now, what
generic.
is the catering side called?
It's still Ain't It the Life Catering. I just don't use the barbecue logo. It's just elegant cursive letters.
I think a lot of people try to separate themselves when they turn to get into catering from barbecue to that, if you notice it. I'm probably sure you know the same dozen people, too. I can name 2 or 3 off the top of my head that has a barbecue business, but they have a different catering business name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for example, like Ernie Meller with Hog Wild.
Yep, that's right. A Movable Feast and Tuffy. You've got Cool Smoke, and then you've got a Sharper Palate.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're hitting both worlds there with that. Yeah.
That's it. And they can see it because a lot of weddings, some people do want barbecue, but a lot of people don't want barbecue at weddings.
You'd be surprised.
I did not.
We get a lot of people wanting taco bars and
Yeah.
I
doing
think
a
it's
split.
going that way
thing.
now. I really do. I think that is a whole taco truck, taco
Era.
trailers thing.
Yeah.
All that's kind of really come a long way when it comes.
We had a
to
taco truck at our house for
a birthday.
our daughter's 2nd birthday.
There you go.
Taco Tuesday,
Oh, that makes sense.
right?
Yeah, it was good. I ain't got to knock it. It was good. You know where they're at today? I'd probably go eat lunch there.
They have a restaurant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have a restaurant. They've always had a restaurant, but they have the taco truck too.
Yeah. I always make a joke about it. We had a taco truck at our house, but
Well, You didn't
She
want
said,
to
"Do you
cook.
want to cook?" And I'm like, "Not really. What do you want me to do?" And she said, "Never mind. I'll handle it." Next thing you know, there's a taco truck pulling up in the driveway,
It was good.
which was better than honestly.
And you didn't have to dishes.
Everybody got what they wanted, which was really cool. There was not a set
Yeah, yeah.
menu when the truck pulled up.
I mean, it
that's
was
nice.
semi.
You could order whatever.
It wasn't a huge menu, but
But it was still, everybody could pick what they wanted,
yeah.
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. And it costs about the same as having somebody cater for you.
Oh yeah.
When
On Miles' birthday, we did build your own pizzas, so we let them play with the dough, stretch the dough out, put their toppings on it, put it in the oven.
I bet the kids really like that.
Oh, they did. They had a good time.
Wow. Well, going from all that, how do you have time, you and Brandon? Because Memphis in May is a different beast on its own. So what kind of preparation does it look like that y'all have to put in volunteer-wise just for Memphis in May for the contest?
I think they give us a couple weeks off, to be honest with you. Brandon and I, we help consult them on some ideas for things. We always want to debrief as soon as the year's over before you forget that information, obviously. Right. We send our little debriefs in at the end of the year and like, okay, how can we grow it? How can we make it better? How can we make it better for this? You can't fix everything overnight, obviously. But we do our darndest. I think we started with ideas for this year, and I'm sure y'all have heard of some of the new changes that have come up this year. We started working on those ideas and plans last July. We've been talking with them, hey, what about this? What about that? What if you expanded here? And things like that. So that's where, the SCA kind of chimed in and got involved. So there'll be an SCA contest at Memphis in May this year, and then adding the kids division. So they're going to have a Memphis in May junior contest this year. They're limiting it to 25 teams, 4 categories, 2 categories on Thursday, 2 categories on Friday, and the GC gets to go to World Food Junior.
That's pretty cool.
And they're going to get a trophy just as big as the adults.
What is the age range for the Memphis in May contest?
9 to 17.
9 to 17, same as most of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't cook.
I don't want to cook.
Yeah, Miles can't even cook that one.
I'm playing.
It's pork, steak on Thursday, and chicken and dessert on Friday.
Oh, so they get to do dessert too.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
You mean judges are ready for that one? They're itching to have a dessert category.
Yeah, that was my thing when they asked for some feedback because they sent out the survey, right?
Yeah.
I said, add a dessert category. I don't know if I'll cook.
I've been saying that for
but
years.
Just the whole, and for us, y'all have been to the Jack before, right?
I have not.
You've
It's
not
on my
even been
bucket
up there
list.
and visited it?
It's always been too close to Arlington for us, and we're in the middle of getting ready for load in and all the logistics for that, so we've always missed out. It's usually always been the week before or after Arlington.
It is. I'm going to probably compare it to World Food here because I've seen both, but I think it's more elaborate at the Jack Daniels than it is at the World Food.
Okay.
Because everybody turns in whole pieces and nothing is really.
Okay.
Some people slice their stuff up and put it on the trays, but for the most part,
Usually a
everybody
mixture
turns
of-
in whole cakes and it's decorated up. And
Oh, wow.
Big old,
It's themed.
it's themed. It is.
Jack Daniels themed.
Jack Daniels
You're
themed,
supposed to
it's-
use, I believe you're supposed to use.
Like one of their whiskeys
Whiskey or something, yeah. And so it is a lot of chocolate and caramel and different ingredients you use whiskey in, and it's
on base and
yes, it
pecans
is.
and stuff.
I've seen some incredible stuff. Seems like everybody hits the gift shops around town and buys little knickknacks to put on the trays or cakes or whatever they're doing.
Spend more money on decor than the actual ingredients.
But it's really cool. I'd love Memphis in May to add a full blown dessert category because I feel like the press alone from that, you have so many good bakers and things around this area.
Mm-hmm.
I would really like to see how that could really turn into something.
But then you're going to get your Peabody people, and we're all going to get beat.
Hey, remember, I know that guy.
Yeah, I know that guy too. He's
going to beat us all.
Chef.
The chef. Yes, we all love the chef.
Yes, but that I would really like to see that. That would be
Bloody Mary would be a good one for Memphis.
Bloody
May, too.
Mary would be a good one for Memphis.
Not the shed style, though, man. That just gets too excessive.
That is there. We've never been to the sheds stuff, but I've seen
but I've
videos
seen
and
it.
pictures and how
I
elaborate.
think you'd have to limit it to like a certain size mug,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's it, and only be so many inches high. I mean, well,
I mean,
seriously,
when it takes 4
Oh, I
people
know.
to
I've
bring your
seen
tray, and that's a
some of
lot.
that.
yeah, that's kind of uncalled for. It would really have to be limited on that of the size. You would.
I would
to
want it to
play
be
in
like
a
if you
certain-
were to be able to order it from a restaurant, that's how it should be received. That would just be.
That's right. That's right.
Even if it had old chicken on it.
Yeah, you don't need a whole fried chicken on it, and 2 burgers and a double
That's
cheeseburger.
crazy. I don't get how you make all that.
A whole lobster, because there's people that do all that, right?
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, we've done it.
I don't know. I just can't. I've been to plenty of Bloody Mary breakfast places, build your own bloodies and all that, and I've never wanted a cheeseburger and a lobster tail and pork belly and all right on top of it.
I mean, I can get a slider, like good.
Yeah, maybe like a.
But yeah, or grilled cheese.
Yeah,
Dip it in there.
but all that, no, I just can't. It's too much.
Well, you're gonna throw it away anyway. Throw it in the trash. Shoot, my favorite Bloody Mary contest was Goat Days, because it was always on-site presentation at 7:30 in the morning.
I remember Goat Days. I only cooked there one time. Left there with a 712, so I'm good. I didn't go back.
I never went to that contest. I know you
did.
did. I
I
don't
went out there
know. I
by
might have been
myself.
working.
They're
or
not
something.
having it anymore.
Are they not?
It's done. PW has retired that one. I hate it too. It's one of our favorite ones.
We're starting to lose a few old contests around here.
Well, it's 'cause no one wants to run them. We're just a big attrition issue going with barbecue, even with the cooks.
You're right. A lot of the older reps and stuff is kind of wanting to give it up. No of the new bloods kind of want to take it over because of how much hard work it actually is.
Yeah.
Everybody is seeing that.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot of work.
truthfully.
I mean, I guess I've been doing it so long, I may probably make it look a little easier than it does. But I've gotten to where I'm on autopilot. It's just the same stuff, different year, change the date.
You just have to be organized, right, Michelle? That's the main thing. You have to be organized.
Oh, yeah.
Not in just disarray of what's going on.
No, you got to know what you're doing.
So going back to Memphis in May, you said y'all basically started in July, leading up to the event this May. So when does it really kick off for y'all that you'll have to focus on Memphis in May 100%? Right after World Food?
Yeah, after final table, we come back. We have the Atoka barbecue contest that following weekend. So we're coming straight from Bentonville and rolling straight up to Atoka. And then, which is also the same weekend as Hogs for the Cause for all the people that go to that one, instead. The next day is team day, April the 6th. That's when teams are getting their packets, paying their final bills. Don't forget to show up.
I'll be there.
Yeah, I got to get all that stuff done. Once the team day is done and everything's locked and loaded, then that's when I start working. That's when I start sending out those confirmation emails saying, hey,
Yeah, y'all basically got a month before you hit the ground, boots on the ground.
I
Right?
need y'all to confirm your categories are correct. Make sure all your ancillaries you signed up for are on the sheet, so that when I we upload that scoring program and get it ready to go, it's ready to go.
Wow.
I mean, you figure we average. We average on just for the ancillaries alone, we're averaging years past 500-600 a day turn-ins that we manage.
Wow. I really didn't think about it like that. But
When
that
you
is
every-
a lot of turn-ins on those ancillary days.
You're average, especially on the sauce days.
Well, that's what I was sitting here thinking, because some people turn in like
All the sauces.
all the sauces,
2 or 3
and
sauces.
some people do multiple. I mean, that gets
Because
real
you are
crazy.
allowed to do multiple sauces on each one, right?
No, it's one
Oh,
ancillary.
you're not.
Oh, for some reason. I
But
thought
still,
you could.
there's
There's 3 different kinds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of
Yeah,
sauce.
you get one turn in per team.
So how many ancillaries is it total at Memphis in May? I don't know off the top of my head. 8,
9.
9? So 9 plus
There's
the main.
5 on Thursday, 4 on Friday, and then they just added SCA on Thursday.
And then you have the kids.
And the kids will be Thursday and Friday. So it's going to be busy.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, Saturday is less stressful for me than Thursday and Friday at Memphis in May, just because the volume of entries and herding the judges around.
I can see that.
getting
And
them all
then you
done.
have 3 main categories on Saturday, and it's,
Yeah.
that's kind of been set in stone for many years. I don't want to say set in stone, but it's kind of easier than the ancillaries,
yeah.
right? Because it fluctuates so much.
Yeah, just based on last year's numbers, I mean, shoot. When you're expecting, like on the sauces, and you got like 99 to 100 entries coming in a 15-minute window, and on the next day on ribs, and you only got maybe 60.
Yeah,
You're like 60's pretty easy after you already undid, a couple hundred in a row.
that's right. Wow. So how much easier is it on you now that it's at Liberty Park versus downtown?
From the judging point of view, we're in a building, so that helps us for any kind of inclement weather. The judging doesn't have to halt when they have to evacuate the park for
Not as humid,
if the air's working.
if the air's working.
But yeah, just being able to keep judging in process if we don't have to evacuate the park due to lightning strikes. So we had that happen a couple years back. So that helps us keep the contest on time. Outside of that, I mean, maybe parking's a little nicer.
Yeah, I
a
agree.
lot nicer.
Yeah, a lot nicer. The walk-in's a lot flatter.
Yes, that hill when you're trying to go home at the end of the day.
Coming in the hill, is not bad at all.
No.
It's always going up the hill back out of the park that is the absolute
No,
worst.
your problem is you stop and talk a little bit, then you walk a little bit, then you talk some more. You just got to go.
Yes.
You just got to go.
Well, I can't help it. Everybody won't stop and talk.
Well, if you just go and get it over with, it's so much easier.
I'll tell you one thing I do miss most about being down on the river is the smell of honeysuckle in May. You coming down that hill, that's all I'd smell was honeysuckle. And then barbecue smoke after a certain point. But
Yep. I've always smelled that too. Wow. So what's the most rewarding part of running the judging program at Memphis in May, and what's the most challenging part?
The most rewarding part, is there even a reward?
Probably not rewarding. That was probably a wrong way to say that. But what's the most challenging part of the whole judging process?
Keeping the judges on time. Because we just had our judge training class this past week, and actually got another 50 judges newly certified. And we had to explain to them very clearly, and we'll remind them again once we're in park, if you're 5 minutes late to your first team, that the whole contest back a whole hour.
And we've experienced that, unfortunately.
Yes.
I know lots of people have. We're
Yeah.
not the only ones. I mean, it happens.
We're implementing newer ideas to help, one, know where the judges are in the park at the time, so when they are getting lost, it's quicker to find them and get them back on track.
The layout at Tiger Park goes are probably a little bit better as far as accessing teams than the river, correct?
Yeah, I would say that, especially where the river, they have so many forks and knowing which way to go that way. I do like where we're at Tiger Lane, where they can more compartmentalize the teams by categories so that the judges don't get as lost as easy, because they're not having to go from one end to the other. They're in the little zones and they stay in the little pockets, and it's easier for the ambassadors that are looking for them to find them. I like the no mud.
Yeah, the no mud part really, really helps me. That was the one thing that I hated, and I'm sure that most barbecue teams will agree, just all the mess that it makes on your equipment and your trailers and your shoes and your clothes and your this and that. And I mean, even I think last year y'all were saying we'll let you know Saturday if we're judging from the knees up, and I'm like, we're on pavement. What does it matter?
Oh, that's the first question I get every morning on Saturday as I'm walking in. They're like, "Are we knees up today?" I'm like,
"It's sun shining, man. What's wrong with you?"
Clean your floor.
That's it. Take a leaf blower with you.
What's something about the judging process that most people don't realize, as far as like competitors or people watching, just
spectators?
Well, Memphis and Mile style judging, it's comparative judging. So, at that point when people are turning in their samples, we're waiting for all the samples for the table to all arrive, and then they all go to the table at the same time. And the judges that are sitting there, they have to pick their favorite out of those that are sitting there in front of them. It can't be what they had earlier that day or not. It's not a subjective and biased standard. It's a comparative type product. So where you might think you might have had the best barbecue today, your luck of the table draw may determine, whether or not you got put on the table of death or the table of heaven.
And you never know that crap roll.
Nope.
I mean, no matter who you paired it with, it really matters what judges are sitting at the table. If they're all on the same page. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, because and that's the other thing too, is with Memphis in May, we have on-site prelim and blind prelim. So you have, technically, you're being judged by 7 people. You're on-site, which you have more control over, and you can talk about it and you can sell it. Even if it did have a bid part, you can control what piece they grab or what piece they eat. So you have a little bit more control on the on-site part, where you don't have as much liberty as which piece of meat comes out on that fork that judge picks. And they might have got one with a little bit too much fat on it, and you may not have wanted them to have it. So definitely put in your box. They have a chance of eating it, you might as well put it in there. If you don't want them to have it,
it's got to go in the box.
Yep.
The best. Absolutely. I tell people that. I've seen people save their best for on-site, and I'm like, the on-site don't count for nowhere near as what that blind does. Send your best in that blind.
That's 4 people on that table. There's 4 judges at that table that you got to make happy versus the 3 that you get to sell it to.
Well, and I can say this for a fact. There has been several years that I have missed out on making it to the top because one judge did not agree with 6.
Yep.
And so out of 7 judges, all 7 really need to agree almost spot on for you to get in finals at Memphis, because there's a lot of instances, and you can back me up on this, that there's tied scores in the first 3 or 4 sometimes.
Yep.
I mean, so you really have to produce a really good product for that many judges and that many teams to narrow it down. And a lot of people don't really understand that. They think, oh, you just get lucky or you're a favor or whatever. No, you got to make that many judges agree.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, period.
And that's the beauty of the blind side too. They don't know who it is. They don't know if it's Heath's or if it's Tuffy's or if it's Chris Lilly's. You can't tell on the blind table whose food they got.
That's right.
So you just said that you guys trained new judges. Do you feel like I know every year they do judging, but are the older judges kind of fading out to where you're having to fill those seats, or is just people just want to experience it, so you're still just trying to, include a little bit of everybody, new, old, experienced, not experienced?
Well, you do have the attrition issue there with the judges as well. They are getting older or they're passing away, unfortunately. We've lost a lot of great judges in the last several years. You're going to have the ones that take the class just because they're a team and they want to hear what the judges are being taught. I think we had several team members this year take the class. They say, I'm not going to be judging, but I want to take the class because I want to hear what, or they want to take that to a different, event and go judge at another event. So that's cool. But we always have to backfill because you never know what's going to come up.
Right,
you never know
what's going to happen. Or...
I mean, I think our judge pool right now, I don't know how many dropped off or not coming back or whatnot, just because of life happens to people. Right. I'd say we probably got like 300 or 400 judges in the judge pool, if not more than that. Some miss out because work, some miss out because, life events. I mean, Memphis in May is right in the middle of graduation season. So
well, we know that too well. I got lucky. My son graduated on the week before. Yeah. Memphis in May. And I can remember one year Myron having to leave, and fly to his daughter's graduation and fly back. It just, you're right. It's right in the middle of graduation season.
Graduation and weddings.
That's it. Graduation.
No, we were not allowed to have a wedding in May.
Nope.
I'm not going to lie. We planned having miles around barbecue season. So.
I told Candace she had January and February if we was going to get married.
That was back when we were cooking all the time, though.
Yep.
Don't miss those
We
days.
did end of November.
So we got it. Our anniversary's coming up real soon. Less than a week away.
Time to go shopping.
And with that, that's a wrap. We'll see y'all next week. No, Michelle, let's tell everybody kind of where they can find you at and your catering business. They want to look you up and things like that.
All right. If you want to look up Ain't It the Life, we are on the Facebook, Ain't It the Life Barbecue, I think. If not, that's the Instagram. It's one of the two. We were not consistent when we did that. Our website is ain'tithelife.com. We do have our catering stuff on there and some of our competition stuff. I need to update the website with pictures there. But if you want to follow our journey as far as how we're doing at Front of Table, definitely our Facebook and Instagram page, Ain't It the Life.
All right. Well, y'all heard it here from Michelle. And Michelle, good luck at the final table. And I'm sure we will see you soon enough at Memphis in May.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
We'll see y'all next week with another episode of Shootin' the Q.
If you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, please feel free to reach out to us on our social media channels. Leave us a review if you've enjoyed the show. And until next time, keep shooting the Q.